Okay, we opened Winsun in May 2016. My business partner and dear friend Josh Koo, we met in a backyard barbecue, and he was preparing. He was in property management and construction at the time, managing. He had a property management company. So we both kind of worked these weird long hours, subject to, all kinds of people often yelling at us. He was in property management, I was in kitchens, but we met at a barbecue. Josh told me he grew up there in Queens. This was in Brooklyn where we met, and that his family was from Taiwan. My mentor in college, his family's from Taiwan as well. So, when I met Josh, he was this cool guy from Brooklyn, or from Queens, but from the area. New York's a city with a lot of people that aren't from there. So it was really cool to meet Josh and to go to restaurants with him where he grew up eating. So, I had a prior interest in Taiwanese food, and Josh was interested in my career and showing me what kind of Taiwanese food he grew up eating. And I think we were both just tired of working for other people and doing jobs that we didn't find meaningful. I loved cooking, but at that point I was working, from sometimes 9 a.m. to 3 a.m. Managing a huge restaurant that did $45,000 a day in sales, and at that point I didn't love what I did, and I was ready to quit cooking. I was thinking about going to law school and maybe studying immigration law and helping all the wonderful people I had encountered in kitchens find pathways to citizenship. That was a viable, I thought that would be a viable way for me to, continue my career, but in a different industry, because all of those 18, 20-hour days, I just didn't want to do that for somebody else. I wanted to, I was interested in cooking still, but I was a little burnt out, and I think my business partner felt similarly about what he was doing and the way that he was unfulfilled. So we would go eat Taiwanese food in Flushing. I was really casually learning about Taiwanese food. We were inadvertently compiling research that eventually turned into a business plan. But Josh had this one space that he was preparing to lease out. It was in Brooklyn is a very popular area. People are constantly moving there. On 14th Street in Manhattan, there's the L train, and the L train just continues over the East River and into North Brooklyn, and that's called the L train corridor. Where Winsun is on the Mantra stop on the L train. Brooklyn is crazy busy here and crazy busy here, but for whatever reason, the Mantra stop, there's nothing there. So, my business partner was pretty confident it would be a busy place, and I didn't think I was ready to open a restaurant, but I was actually introducing him to chefs that I knew that I thought were ready to open a restaurant and would be good partners to him, because he's a good friend of mine. And eventually, I remember one night we were out and my partner was like, "Hey, I don't want to open a restaurant with your friends. I want to open a restaurant with you." So we, defined the relationship over the next few weeks and decided to do a business together. I think initially we thought we'd probably do like Italian food or, fresh pasta. I loved making fresh pasta. I loved grilling, but in New York, it's very expensive to ventilate properly for live fire and to get that sort of flavor into your food, which was, a bummer. But I think at that time there were various kind of smaller, 50, 60 seat pasta restaurants opening up, and it was just kind of an in vogue thing to do. And, we were sitting in Josh's apartment specking out what kind of restaurant we'd open. And, I think we both arrived at the conclusion that we should, our friendship was based on eating Taiwanese food together, that, and Josh had a car because he was traveling all around New York managing these properties. And it was very easy for us to go out to Flushing, to huge Taiwanese community, Chinese community out there in Queens, and eat at various different restaurants, and that was like our favorite thing to do. And we sort of realized that if maybe we could have a shot at being successful if we could bring that kind of experience that we were getting, eating this different food that nobody really knew about at the time, or we didn't feel like it was mainstream. We could maybe just communicate something authentic to our relationship, even if it was unauthentic or inauthentic, and we could promote something that was important to us and share that experience without making people have to travel an hour and a half, 2 hours on public transit all the way to Flushing, Queens. We didn't have a PR company. We weren't a big restaurant group. I'd come from Manhattan restaurant groups, working for Tom Colicchio, Steven Starr. I really kind of grew up in New York in those restaurant groups. I've been cooking since I was 15 in restaurants, but it seemed like crazy enough that it might work, and we started doing pop-ups around our fried chicken sandwich. I'm from the South. Fried chicken's a big thing everywhere, really, but especially in the South in the United States. And Taiwanese fried chicken is a big, very popular thing. We started Win Sun Restaurant, and that is casual fare, dinner fare. It's not so fancy that we can't have sandwiches on the menu. It's a very accessible food style, from price point to the way plates are composed. It's very pretty, but anybody could take their mom or go with their best friend. It's you could go in your PJs, or you could wear a suit before you're going out to a fancy party or something. But across the street, a few years later, we opened the bakery, and Win Sun Bakery kind of capitalizes on the way that American on-the-go breakfast culture in New York collides or coincides with Taiwanese on-the-go breakfast culture. So, every time you go into a coffee shop in America or a bodega, you grab a coffee and maybe you get a bacon, egg, and cheese or muffin or croissant, and then you go to work on the train. So we only cook Taiwanese breakfast at the restaurant during brunch hours. So at the bakery, we realized, we could offer people coffee or hot soy milk. Hot soy milk is a very common breakfast thing in Taiwan. So, we kind of centered the idea of pairing coffee and soy milk together and then serving those with scallion pancake breakfast sandwiches and pastries. I was roommates with one of my really good friends, Danielle Spencer, who's a pastry chef, amazing pastry chef, and she created a virally successful mochi donut. That's one of the best donuts in New York. So forever, people just have been coming to Win Sun Bakery to get the mochi donut, and they end up finding, things like the bacon, egg, and cheese, or the mortadella egg and cheese scallion pancake sandwich, dishes like we did in the course, like fan tuan. People love that. That's and then Danielle's taken her pastry menu to a totally new level. We used to outsource pancakes. Now we make them in-house at a production facility. Danielle's got a huge oven. We really built this business from ground up over the past 8 years. So, yeah. We change things seasonally, but the menu's pretty consistent. We're always noticed that it's changed a ton, except for obviously things go out of season in the fall and the winter and the spring and summer. But the dish sets remain the same more or less. Every now and then we'll take something off or change something, but aside from the seasonality involved, we keep things pretty consistent. Before we opened Win Sun, I asked my partner, I was like, hey, can we should go to Taiwan together and travel around. And he took me there and introduced me to his family, his cousins who are around our age. We'd go party with them or travel around the island, really connect with the culture and kind of understand what it's like in Taiwan. It's one of those things, the more you know, the less you know. So, I'm still always learning, and we go back annually, sometimes twice a year. COVID messed that up a little bit. My wife, her family lives in Korea. So we're, I kind of need to go back to Korea more than Taiwan now, but luckily they're very close. So, I was doing that before COVID hit, and then, when COVID hit, we basically reopened both of our businesses, like new businesses. Still have a lot of same people that work with us, but that was a crazy experience. It kind of threw off my regular traveling, but I'll be back this coming summer. We're trying to replicate our bakery and open one up in the city. I think when you open a restaurant and you want to keep working with good people, you're growing. So we want to open more bakeries and kind of prove that we can replicate our bakery concept and see how far we can go with that. Sustainability, that's a tough thing. New York is crazy. We pay for recycling, for instance, at the bakery, but our carting company, we pay for recycling. Like, just let me be really clear. We pay for recycling, but our carting company just throws the recycling away. New York doesn't have great recycling systems that I'm aware of, at least. But we don't create a lot of food waste. It's a busy restaurant. It's always easy to order and not waste food at a busy restaurant. So, thank God we're busy. But in addition to that, in terms of sustainability, we try to curate a great workplace culture. I really am not into making people what I went through at restaurants that I worked at, where I, got in at 9 a.m. and left at 3 a.m. If you do that math on that, you're making like $7 an hour or something, considering what I was getting paid at the time. But we want to keep people fresh and keep people tuned in and inspired, and motivate them and help them get to where they want to be. So I think that's a big part of sustainability as well. But there's obvious other factors. We work with heritage breed pigs and buy local grass-fed beef whenever we can, wherever we can. We get Amish chickens that are well raised. Sometimes vegetables with we're getting them from California or something. That's not very sustainable. Restaurant cultures, it's hard if you're not a hyper local, seasonal restaurant. It's hard to be super sustainable, but we do our best where we can. My favorite New York restaurant, that's so tough. I think Ops. It's a pizza spot in Bushwick. My friend Mike Fatum owns it, and it's got one of the best natural wine lists in the country. Yeah, I think I gotta say my mentor Pei Chang, or another mentor of mine, Damon Weiss. These guys are just people that I always hold in my head as the standard, and I try to be like them every day, every time I cook. Huge Star Wars nerd. Yeah. A book? I'm reading a book right now called China Mirage, and it's about how Franklin Delano Roosevelt, his family, how they made their money. Understanding history is the only way to kind of avoid future conflicts and needless violence. It probably will never happen, but understanding history can happen. And that's why I like cooking different food, because it's like a way for me to learn and process and share things that I've learned through cooking. I love Tigres del Norte. I love Jose Alfredo Jimenez. I love old school Latin music. I like kind of how those songs to me sort of tell like pokey country stories. And I learned a lot of Spanish through those songs, and Spanish is kind of like a connector for me. Like I think I've always stayed in cooking because of the people I've met, and predominantly the Spanish-speaking people I've met from Central and South America. I definitely would have quit cooking a lot of times if I didn't have that outlet. It's a pressure release valve, right? The chef's yelling at you, you're having a bad night, and you see a prep cook that or dishwasher that has been working at the restaurant forever, and they just smile at you, and you know you're going to make them a good porter meal, and there's just a genuine appreciation for each other in that moment. That's kind of like, it's like your team. That's what keeps you coming back. And I think a lot of people miss out on that if they don't speak Spanish. So I love Spanish music. I learn about Spanish through music, and it's big part of my life. From my course, I would like people to understand that cooking food through one person, it means you're cooking, you're putting that food through a lens. So, I'd like people to understand that they're seeing food through the Winsun restaurant and bakery lens, and that's a cool entry level way to get into Taiwanese food and learning about a different culture, a different kind of food that you might not have ever seen before.